I'm here at the Honors College building here at ECU. The EC Scholars are part of the Honors College here, and they receive study abroad scholarships from Dowdy Student Stores Profit.
Students can receive ECU alerts many different ways. One way they can receive them is on their phone.
We're not for profit, and that our profits do go back towards student scholarships and other university program contributions and donations.
It was Dowdy's mission to give back to ECU. Profit from each fiscal year was invested into the next year's scholarships. Dowdy Student Stores Director Brian Tootin explains.
Right now we're looking about the same as we did last year. It was around $150,000 in student scholarships.
Dowdy specifically funds EC Scholars and Honors College scholarships.
I'm here at the Honors College building here at ECU. The EC Scholars are part of the Honors College here, and they receive study abroad scholarships from Dowdy Student Stores Profit.
Associate Dean of the ECU's Honors College, Kevin Baxter, talks about the grants.
We've had in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 EC scholars receive that scholarship through Dowdy Student Stores per year.
And to say thanks, EC Scholars help out at major events Dowdy puts on. EC Scholar Ryan Carter Stanley comments.
They commit at least a couple hours every semester to working at the Grad Expo.
Tootin says there may be cutbacks in grant money for the next couple years. Some profit will be used to pay for store space in the new student union.
We're trying to put more money into our capital reserves to where we won't have as large of a debt payment.
Those in the EC Scholars program are grateful for this investment, though.
I'm not fearful at all that we won't be able to find donations from elsewhere, and honestly I'm just appreciative that they still donate at all.
It's not for nothing, Baxter says.
Ensure that this isn't just going into some mysterious black hole when they make a profit, but rather they're putting it back into students.
This is Emily Gardner, Pirate News Network.
Provides an alternative, for a different type of student someone who's seeking something outside the traditional major, an alternative path to maybe a traditional job.
Newly implemented University Studies program at ECU has a radical nature geared toward today's growing economy. Program Director Dr. Rondell Rice explains its non-traditional nature.
The goal is to put together the classes that will help them for their desired future, but also round them out and broaden them, because that's the real positive of the interdisciplinary degree.
However unique, there are some who use this program as an easy way out.
Might take advantage of the program in that they would create their own program and then maybe choose classes that might be easy for them to get by with and avoid the more difficult classes in the structured degree programs.
For many, the goal is simply to get out of school.
This is another opportunity for them to be able to get through the program without having to take an additional year.
Another year of school means another year of paying tuition, benefiting the university but drawing student wallets.
It comes down to money. It's really expensive to get an education nowadays.
Though tailored to a student's needs, potential employers may have difficulty understanding it.
Two options are, one is too vague for employers to understand, and the other one is very specific for the student. It meets the student's needs.
Stowe asked who the program benefits more.
Ultimately, is it good for the university or is it good for students? We're going to have to wait and see.
Emily Gardner, Pirate News Network. Local organization Project Timera has responded to the global threat of Ebola. ECU student Issa Thula formed his organization this past March after his return to his home country of Sierra Leone last December.
Recently started a non-profit organization with a fellow ECU student to support student education in Sierra Leone and help facilitate sustainable community development.
Thula says that people are afraid, and they hope to overcome people's fears by educating them.
People are very afraid. They are afraid of getting the disease. They're afraid of the stigmatization.
Project Timera asked doctors from prestigious Sierra Leone hospitals to train their volunteers.
They provide proper training and education for our 70 volunteers. And the 70 volunteers afterwards went into the community door to door to teach people about the Ebola.
Project Timera is also responding locally to the Ebola outbreak.
So we're trying to put together a second Ebola panel this time to address issues of campus safety and security and what protocols.
The U.S.'s response is important because of the virus's worldwide effect.
It affects trade, economics, and travel.
Though Ebola's effects are global, there's speculation as to how large an epidemic it is. Dr. Shaw Akula clarifies.
It is a crisis in Western Africa.
Thula's goals for Project Chimera stem farther than the Ebola outbreak.
And ultimately, this is a global issue and not just the African problem like I mentioned.
Emily Gardner, Pirate News Network. In January, Clement Hall students were startled by a robbery that occurred in the building's lobby. Students questioned the timeliness of ECU alerts, saying messages should be issued sooner. Lieutenant Christopher Sutton of ECU Police explains.
The Clement Hall case a few weeks ago, we couldn't send it out until we were notified, and we weren't notified until 10 to 15 minutes after the incident actually occurred.
A few days later, students were notified of a shoplifting crime at the 10th Street Sheets. Students claimed an alert wasn't needed for this crime.
Not knowing if this individual would come into contact with one of our students, it was felt like would be beneficial to send it because there was a concern for the safety.
ECU Alerts is a campus-wide messaging system that informs people of crime and bad weather.
Students can receive ECU alerts many different ways. One way they can receive them is on their phone.
Students can also receive more detailed messages through their email. All they have to do is sign up on the ECU Alerts website.
The notifications are helpful, that students need to know when there is a threat.
Some students could feel overwhelmed by the many messages they get, but Sutton said it's all about safety.
It's hard to put a quantity on safety. You can never be too safe.
Thing is it's required by law to issue these messages.
There's a federal mandate called the Clery Act that requires universities to be able to give timely notification to students, to the community.
Sutton said both crimes were considered aggravated assaults and robberies, and the Clery Act requires both types of crime be alerted to the community. So regardless of what students say, it's necessary for ECU to have this system.
The majority of the response is that this is something that is not just needed, it's federally required to have.
This is Emily Gardner reporting for the Pirate News Network.